If you've
Probably wondering what's next. Well, don't worry, I'm going to tell you what's next because, well, they're telling us what's next. They always do, don't they? While our world leaders, who of course were all elected by us, the people, are working hard for us over in Europe, over at NATO, as you can see, they all look real concerned about the war. Looks like one giant mugshot. And of course, what are they doing there? Well, they're planning. They're getting together, because they have to stop the conflict and all that stuff. Wink, wink. All right, they're planning what's next to continue the process of the Great Reset. When really, it would be nice if they were there planning, getting together and saying, well, what could we do next? Well, how about the whole bunch of them go to the nearest cliff on a windy day, a real windy day, and see where the wind takes them? That would be nice. But no, instead they're going to plan the next thing they have in store for us, which they'll blame on the war like they blamed on the outbreak. And of course, no one's suspicious that all these people have been talking about how we need to reset the world. They think that it has something to do with, I have no idea. No idea. Because apparently they don't see that they're bankrupting everyone, they're killing the dollar, they're killing economies, they're bringing in robots to take jobs from humans, they're putting in surveillance everywhere. I mean, putting people in their own homes, imprisoning themselves. Don't worry about any of that stuff. Because what's next is a massive food shortage. And how do we know? Well, our friends at the World Economic Forum tell us everything that's happening next, so why not just listen to them? Because they just posted this on their Instagram account.
Ukraine grows enough food to feed 400 million people on planet Earth. So when the farmers on the battlefields aren't planting or aren't harvesting, what impact do you think that's going to have? 50% of our grain, for example, wheat, comes from Ukraine. And then when you start putting it in the global context of Russia and Ukraine together, not even get into the fertilizer costs and the fertilizer excess of base products, you've got a catastrophe knocking and looming on the door for the fall. That will be not a price issue, but a supply issue, availability of food for people around the world, and that will be a catastrophe on top of a catastrophe. This is one of the reasons we need to get the farmers in Ukraine back into the field so they can plant and harvest over the next few months. Otherwise, can the G7 countries and all other nations around the world make up for that supply?
If you are a rich household in advanced economies or even in Africa, you will adjust to rising food price. Now, if you are a poor household in, as you said, the Horn of Africa, you already spent 80-90% of your daily income on food. So you don't really have a margin for adjustment except eating less. What we want is basically to pool risk together, and we do it with trade and trade diversification. So we may not want to rely just on Russia and Ukraine to feed the world. So we need to have not 2 or 3 or 4 big exporters, but 20.
Well, that was really nice of them. Yes, there's plenty of excuses we could use. I mean, pricing people out is one excuse that they've been using, right? Trying to price people out with inflation. But now they can use some other ones, right? Oh, can't grow crops. Oh, I'm sorry. How about here in America? We can't grow wheat here in America? The excuse here in America with food has been, oh, we can't get food on the shelves. Oh, that's convenient. What about toilet paper? Oh, we had toilet paper shortages too, because that has nothing to do with food, but oh, supply chain issues. Oh, right. I forgot. Right, but we can't grow wheat. So you're saying, Carl, well, what are we going to do? Well, don't worry, because conveniently, a day or two before the World Economic Forum posted that on their Instagram account, they posted this on their YouTube channel. Wow, it's almost like it's right out of a playbook. Oh wait, it is out of a playbook. Now, I've been telling people for a long time, and it did take a rocket scientist, and it doesn't take one to figure this out, that they want to control what you eat, and they don't want you to eat actually nutritious foods. They want you to eat food that they grow in a lab, which will likely contain, you know what, fetuses, amongst other things, soy, so they can soy everybody up more. I mean, nobody sees this. They're not suspicious. Oh, we're going to have a food shortage. Why? Oh, there's a war all the way over in Russia and Ukraine. Oh, and there's also a gas shortage, an oil shortage. Oh, okay. The zombies just go, oh, that's the reason why. It's not your own governments around the world doing this to themselves. No. They conveniently create the wars. They conveniently create the outbreaks so they can get what they want in the end. So how are they going to convince people? Well, they'll convince them of shortages. And then, of course, you'll have all your liberal soy boys who will say things like, well, we shouldn't be killing animals. And you could debate that all you want. And then they'll say the same thing about fish, because that video you just saw talks about fish, like it's bad to eat fish. Like, oh, the poor fish. Or we don't need, cutting out the need to feed, breed, and kill fish. We could just grow it in a lab. So you can have your fish fillet in a lab. But the ironic part, of course, is that your fish fillet already is grown in a lab. That is not real fish. Just like your McNugget is not real chicken. So people won't notice the difference when they eat that kind of crap anyway. But isn't it interesting how they conveniently could tell us that? And then, of course, they bring in the 3D printer, right? I've covered the 3D printing many times over about how this is the plan. They're going to print your food, and people don't understand what that means. Well, you're not going to be eating food. You're going to be eating some substance that they come up with, which, of course, wow, was that graphene? Oh, right. One of the things that's in there and that they use 3D printing with is graphene, of course. And they're going to print you ribeye steaks, and they're going to tell you this is delicious food, and they're going to tell you it's nutritious for you because animals are bad for you. Soon they'll tell you that actually growing vegetables and fruit are bad for you and that you need everything to be 3D printed. But they'll get to that after they get to, getting people used to the 3D printed food first. They have to make sure you're not afraid of it first. And of course, they need to make sure that people will eat this. So how are they going to do that? Well, they're going to take away regular food and people are going to have no choice. And they're going to go to their government to be fed. Just like what? Oh, right, Soylent Green.
New York City, 50 years from today. Nothing runs, nothing works.
They gave me a quarter of a kilo.
But people are the same. And people will do anything to get what they need. What they need most is Soylent Green.
They've got to tell people.
Tell them what?
The ocean's dying. The plankton's dying. It's people. Soylent Green is made out of people.
What was in the Soylent Green? Oh yeah, people. right? It all makes perfect sense for those of us with eyes and ears and, well, brains. Or, I mean, just look at what's going on, right? I mean, it's not hard to see, especially when these people are over at NATO. They're all smiling and hugging and kissing. Aren't they supposed to be really upset about the war over there and concerned? Do you think it's a time for a photo op? I mean, they're telling us over here that we're not going to have food, we're not going to have gas, all this stuff because of the war, that we're going to be under cyber attack. They all seem pretty confident and fine, thrilled to see one another. You're world criminals on the same stage. You got Trudeau, you got Sloppy Joe, barely able to stand up in the front there. You got them all right there. How convenient, right? Well, what could they be doing? Oh, they're going to get together and they're going to say how we can stop this. No, they're not. They're getting together to analyze how this all is going so far. How many people have complied and got their potion? How many people have complied and are, what are the social media stats and all this stuff saying about Ukraine and Russia? Are people buying into this? Are people buying into the fact that, there's a wink, wink war going on? Oh, okay. Are people switching from gas to electric cars? Okay. And now how can we plan these next events? The food shortage, the cyber attack, what are the dates that we have planned? And bada bing, bada boom. And no one's suspicious because, well, they're too tired, they're too distracted, they're too lazy. They're more interested in, I see everything, we all see what's going on in the world. You look at like YouTube trending, right? And if it isn't something pushing the propaganda of what's going on in Ukraine, it's just mind-blowing that people are like, I'm going to review the Batman today, or what? With what's going on? And this is what they're occupied with. They're like, let me review the costumes in the movie, or let me review the new animation, the new cartoon. What? Do you see what's happening? Oh, right, because you don't live in that reality. And then when everything hits, you're going to be completely unprepared. And Joe and all these creep bags are going to come in and solve the problem. And they're going to say, yeah, you can continue to pretend you're inside of a video game or you're an anime character. Here's your food. It's Soylent. Oh, okay, I'll eat it. I'm starving. It's people. I don't care. I just need to eat. Can I go back and play Sonic? Can I be Tails and Sonic the Hedgehog? Huh? And we all know the losers that I'm specifically talking about, because there's a large group of them that are dooming society. But luckily for us, we're all prepared. And when those types of people come knocking, looking for help, they ain't going to get it. But the scary part is they're not going to be knocking for help. They're going to be on board with full government control of what they eat, what they wear, where they go, how they can spend their money, and the scariest part is how they can think. But the government's already thinking for them. Unbelievable, isn't it? So here's the next thing that's going to come. The World Economic Forum, of course, letting us know. No one's suspicious. Of course not. Why should they be? They've only been telling us that we need a reset. All this stuff goes down. No one's suspicious. Like, well, thank goodness these guys got together and they were planning on a big event happening. Whew, goodness gracious, thank goodness. So now we have a playbook we can go by. Yeah. Oh, they weren't, conveniently, Event 201 occurred right before everything happened too. Man, these people are ahead of the game because they're so much smarter than us. They're not planning any of this. They're just ahead of the game so they could tell us what's best for us to solve these problems. Not the ones they've created, of course, that have happened organically. How dumb can people really be?